Good morning from Central Florida on one of the best days that we get to live for WrestleMania Saturday. We have your co-host Chad Springer with his greatest tag team partner ever, Chad Boudreaux, and we have a very special guest joining us today, Janko Beras. Mr. Janko, how are you doing this morning? Welcome to the show.
All right, great. Thank you for having me. Let me apologize ahead of time if you hear a little bit of screaming. My kids are not having a good morning right now, so.
It's okay. They're just as excited for WrestleMania as we are. That's what we're going to tell everybody today. Gentlemen, it is finally here. WrestleMania, day one. It is our unofficial holiday. It is our unofficial Super Bowl. How excited are you for night one tonight?
Oh, dude, I'm excited as can be. Man, this is like bringing me back to my childhood. I love it. This is the best weekend ever.
Dude, yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Jacob.
It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Good matches, good card. One of the better cards I can remember in recent memory. So from bottom to top,
So I take it we love the 2-day format. Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like it, love it. It kind of depends on the year, right? Some years it's great, some years it stinks.
Papa H is cooking right now. I don't like the ticket prices though, but Papa H is cooking right now. And speaking of the great Paul Triple H Levesque, hey, last night, midnight for us, 9:00 for them, Hall of Fame ceremony. He took his rightful place as a WWE Hall of Famer. I watched it this morning. I had a sleep study last night, so I watched it this morning. Triple H, well deserved, should have been in years ago. But he's the man that didn't want to go in. He was like the Paul Heyman style. I don't want to go in. But his best friends, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, and wife Stephanie McMahon. Boom, here you go, Triple H in the Hall of Fame. Did y'all get a chance to see that? What are your thoughts about that?
Nah, I didn't watch it. Not yet. I was going to watch it later on today because I have a thing that I do. I watch of all the biographies the week leading up to it that are on Peacock. And then right before they start the pre-show, I watch the Hall of Fame from the night before, and then I watch everything else. It's like my routine I do every year.
I haven't got to watch it yet. I will before. Just busy morning, but rightfully deserved. Should have been in, like you said, Chad, way before. But he's there now, and that's all. It's all good news for us as fans.
Look, this Triple H era is absolutely incredible. Say whatever you want about it. I'm not going to give you any spoilers about what he said. You can probably see it on Twitter and everything, but he spoke from the heart. And in all of our years, we've never seen Triple H emotional. But last night, we've seen Triple H emotional, and that's all I'm going to say. Joining him was, the great Lex Luger, who honestly, from a trial and tribulation, life, his ups and downs is well documented. But, he took his rightful place. DDP inducted him. The Natural Disasters was there. Michelle McCool, who helped start the whole Divas Revolution. She was inducted by her husband, The Undertaker. I'm sure that was probably a great feeling. You got to induct your wife into the WWE Hall of Fame, and you can tell she's a teacher the way she talked to the crowd. You can tell that she was a teacher before the wrestler. So shout out to Michelle McCool for being a teacher, an amazing athlete, and one hell of a pro wrestler. And then you had the match between Stone Cold and Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13, the submission match, get inducted into the Hall of Fame as, I guess they're trying to do what the UFC does, which is great, induct matches that changed, the course of wrestling history. And that match truly, I feel, kicked off the Attitude Era. It flipped Bret and Stone Cold as heel and face. They did the double turn, and it worked out perfectly, especially for the company in the direction that was going. And it helped put the proverbial rocket ship on Stone Cold's back and shot him to the moon. Great night. But before we get started into the whole WrestleMania process, we got just a little bit of sports news that we need to talk about. And, I'm not one to bash somebody, but I just want to put this out there. This is not a bashing thing. This is a life lesson. You know, we either win or we learn when we play games, right? So this needs to be a learning experience. And we're going to talk about something we talked about last week. Mr. Nico, now the UCLA quarterback, decided he wanted a little bit more money from Tennessee, and he was going to do what they called a holdout for the buyout, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, now correct me if I'm wrong, Tennessee zero state taxes. So if you get $2 million, you're still getting a good portion of that money. Let's just say after the federal taxes, you're getting $1.5 million probably. Ain't that what he signed for at UCLA? $1.5 million in California's tax bracket? Like, wow. That's why all athletes need financial literacy. That's all I'm saying. You need a class on financial literacy to know. Look, you just came from a team that made the playoffs. Now thinking about what was said about him trying to hold out and how horrible he played in that playoff game, hey, I think he might have threw it. Don't know, but I'm just saying you're going to UCLA, who's playing in the Big Ten, which is now, I'm sorry, Boudreaux, you're not going to want to hear this, but it's slowly overtaking the SEC in college football just a smidge.
You ain't lying.
You're going to UCLA. You're going to have to play Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Nebraska. You know, you're an average quarterback at Tennessee, and you made the playoffs because you had a great team around you. But now, come on, bro. Like, you're probably going to make like $750,000 after taxes. You're not even going to be able to buy a penthouse in downtown LA for that. You might be able to buy a trailer out in, you know, I don't know, Crenshaw. I don't know, you know, but, you know, that was dumb. That was dumb.
So, I mean, you're right about it. Like, first of all, he's losing money because SEC, we know SEC is going to have more money than anybody else. Like the money that they throw at SEC teams, even in like especially your major programs in the SEC, even Vanderbilt's throwing money around like it's nothing. But and then exposure, right? SEC, everyone watches the SEC games. Mm-hmm. Unless you're a Big Ten fan, you don't watch much Big Ten, unless there's nothing like the SEC game that's on is just flat garbage.
Yeah,
like you have like a Vandy versus like Arkansas or something. You're gonna watch a big
Commodores though, baby. Shout out to Commodores.
So you watch the SEC. I mean, granted, yeah, I'm an SEC homer. I'm an LSU guy, but yeah, and you're right. The Big Ten is taking over, but the Big Ten's also taking over because they play better defense than the SEC right now. The SEC's defenses lately have been garbage. So you're gonna go to a team that they don't have an O-line. They don't have any weapons on the outside like he has at Tennessee, and Tennessee has a great running back. You have nothing for an offense when it comes to that. And you're going to go up against, like you're saying, Ohio State. You're going against Michigan, the past two national champs. I mean, what are we doing, guys? Like, what's happening here?
It's crazy, man. You know, it's just thinking about it. You know, they just got, quote unquote, rid of their offense coordinator from UCLA, but we all know that was a joke anyway. But, you know, Deshaun Foster, the head coach there, you know, the great Carolina Panther running back. I like Deshaun Foster. He represented us really well in the Super Bowl when we lost to New England. But this late in the game, you have to learn a whole new system, a whole new terminology, everything. And Janko, you can preach about this, being a college athlete and learning something new. When you was in college, it was hard. Imagine how much harder it is now. Yeah, you got the coach to player communication, but that's not going to help him on the field when he's learning these new concepts and everything. You know, can you speak briefly on that a little bit?
I think the biggest thing when it comes to learning terminology is we all have our base foundation, how we learned it, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you may call it a number or whatever. The first time you were exposed to it, you know it. That's ingrained in your brain. Now he's translating in his head. Now you're going to take a system that you were at Tennessee. You already figured out that system. What are the reads, this and that? What are the run schemes? What are the checks? What are we doing from there? What does everybody have? Who's my hot? And now you're going to a different system with different terminology. Now the plays may be similar. I mean, sale is sale no matter where you go. Stick is stick. You may have one or two variations, but at the end of the day, conceptually, it's pretty much the same thing. But how is that terminology? How do I communicate that with everybody else around? And what are my checks? What are my hots? What do we call this? What do we call that? And like you said, this late in the game, it is kind of hard. But I think the bigger question we have to be asking is, where's his supporting cast?
Yeah.
Who behind him is telling him that this is a good idea?
Yeah,
Because you're losing money.
Mm-hmm.
You're going somewhere late. You're going to play some good defenses, which means you may not even get into the playoffs. That's a big one. You may not even get into the playoffs on top of all that. Yet the people who are supposed to be supporting you and in your ear are telling you this is a good idea. And we got to understand, these are young kids. They're very impressionable. And it happens across every level now. You see it in high school even, where this coach comes to this player and says, hey, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you. And they go out there like, who's around them and telling them this is a good idea?
You know, rumor on the street is his father. Now that's just the rumor. We were just, you know, we don't believe in rumors. But the only thing I see about him going to UCLA is, I mean, he might have got blackballed by other schools. I mean, there was, you know, talk about him going to UNC. But, you know, he is from the California area. So, you know, UCLA would be an ideal destination. But I mean, kids, you gotta think about it, man. You hear about the pros all the time talking about these financial advisors, these people managing their money, and now they're broke because their financial advisor did XYZ. And you know, I can't believe I forgot, because I just watched the dang thing last night. There was an athlete talking about, you know, his father is his advisor, but he's not his financial advisor. And there's some things that his father can talk to him about, and there's some things his father, he doesn't allow him to talk to him about. And, you know, hey, Marshawn Lynch said it best: protect your mental and your chickens, okay? Like, Marshawn Lynch, I think, can give the greatest financial literacy class. And believe it or not, Rob Gronkowski can give a great financial literacy class, because Rob Gronkowski lived off his endorsement money. Marshawn Lynch would do the same thing. That's why Beast Mode's, you know, enterprise is growing. But guys, just be careful. You know, Tupac said it best. You know, you got some people to say they're really your friends, but they're really your enemies. And some people to say they're really your enemies, but they're really your friends. And when your paper is getting low, they ain't nowhere to be found. You know, 50 Cent even said it. If he got shot today, the industry people will quit calling him, you know. So just remember that. I mean, it was I personally, it's more money than I ever made. So I'm not going to say it's a dumb financial thing. I'd take $750,000 to go somewhere. But put it in our world, it's like me saying I'm going to leave Florida as an AD and go back to, let's say, a state like North Carolina, where I came from, where it would be a pay cut to go back there, like with state taxes. You know, so in the grand scheme of things, why would I go back and be an AD somewhere and still have to coach and teach, you know, 4, 5, 6 classes a day, and then, you know, take a $20,000 pay cut? You know,
I mean, even going on this too, like the whole like exposure thing we're talking about, right? Like first of all, he's not going to make playoffs now,
yeah,
or he came from a team that made the playoffs, and now draft stock itself is going to drop. Like, yeah, he may still end up having a great career in the NFL, but his draft stock's going to tank, and then now he's going to go from making the rookie contract of $13 million to maybe a couple. Like, it's a big hit he's taking financially. I mean, if that's what maybe it is because he just wants to be closer to home. Like, I mean, California is a way different lifestyle than it is up in Knoxville, Tennessee. There's a huge difference there.
The weather's a little bit better.
Yeah. So it could be that. To me, that's the only way this makes sense to me, is that he wanted to be back home. But he was shopping around. Like we talked about last time, he was shopping himself up to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And Lanning's like, hey, this is what's going on, and reported back to Tennessee. So,
hey, Dan Lanning became Whitey Bulger overnight, baby. Shout out Dan Lanning, for real. Shout out Dan Lanning. Hey, but that's real stuff right there, you know, because if Dan Lanning wasn't the type of individual he is, he'd be like, all right, D, hey, come on over here. Come on over to Oregon, you know. But shout out
Right.
Dan Lanning for stepping up and calling people out.
I think
Shout out Knoxville. Knoxville is a very, very
I
beautiful
love
campus.
Tennessee. I go there every Thanksgiving. Tennessee's where I'm at.
Hey, Eastern Tennessee is where my family is. Shout out to Elizabeth and Johnson City. But hey, we got nothing but love for the UT people because you'll come in and treat you like family. And, you know, that's a great thing right there. But ladies and gentlemen, hey, we're going to take a real quick break. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about the topic we all been wanting to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hanging with the Chads. We'll be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Hanging with the Chads. I am Chad Springer with my amazing tag team partner, especially today when the tag team champions mean so much more. On today's episode, Mr. Chad Boudreaux, and hell, if we is in AEW, our trios champion right here, Janko Beras. Shout out, Janko. Shout out, Chad. Thank y'all for being here. Hey, let's get on into it. WrestleMania, baby. WrestleMania is one of my favorite days, as we've already mentioned. It is one of the best things going on. It is our version of the Super Bowl as wrestling fans. And let's just start off right now. We're going to get into a little topic. Each one of us is going to go over what is your favorite WrestleMania moment. Now, we were supposed to have another guest on, but he won't be able to be on until tomorrow's show. So I'm going to save my in-person moment, but I'll be able to speak about my favorite WrestleMania moment of all time. But Janko, you're our guest. Tell us some of your favorite WrestleMania moments, matches, and the things you've seen, and if you've actually been to WrestleMania in person.
Well, I've never been to WrestleMania yet.
We're gonna change that when they come to Orlando.
That's on the list.
Or next year with me and Boudreaux going to the Noya, baby.
Going home.
Favorite match, or I guess most memorable match for me has to be when John Cena beat JBL, just because that was the first one I actually saw pay-per-view. I was young, getting into wrestling,
really young,
and first time parents bought pay-per-view, and I believe that was also the WrestleMania that Triple H fought Batista for the title.
Yep, I think that
was the match before it, if I remember correctly. So that had to be my favorite, or my most memorable WrestleMania moment. I think my favorite though is a few years ago now. Wow, it's been a while. When the Hardys came back, it was very nostalgic for me.
Yep, in Orlando.
I was watching. I was just getting back into it. Hadn't really been watching live shows. Wasn't keeping up with the forum. So that to me was a total shock, total surprise, and it was a pretty awesome moment. It was nice to see some of my childhood heroes or childhood teams come back and compete. It was pretty awesome to watch.
Boudreaux?
Dude, WrestleMania 6. I'm wearing the shirt, man. I'm wearing the shirt for it. It's all over my shirt. Like, my office, I have 3 championship belts in it.
You sure do.
I have a stuffed Ultimate Warrior in there. And then, so Ultimate Warrior has always been my favorite. And that's the thing about what Triple H is doing, right? So, first of all, WrestleMania 6, Ultimate Warrior Hogan, phenomenal. It was the first real memory I have of wrestling. Like me and my dad watched it all the time. But that I remember laying on, like, this is how vivid it is for me. I was laying on the floor during the matches, and my parents had this cool painting of a bunch of mallard ducks on the wall. And I was sitting there drawing it as the matches are going on. And then every once in a while I'd run to my room because we had bunk beds. And I had Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddies, and I'd wrestle and I'd jump off the bunk bed and drop elbows on them. So it's my first memory I have of WrestleMania. It was one of the coolest WrestleManias. Ultimate Warrior just always brought the energy, and Hogan just being Hogan, who he is. But what Triple H is doing, and now that I'm a father, ever since he took over the company, my daughter runs into the living room. Dad, when's WrestleMania? Dad, when's WrestleMania? Dad, when's WrestleMania? So she's now watching it with me, and it's just like so many cool things to see life go full circle like that. Where my dad
shout
and
out those Kool-Aid buddies.
Yep, right. So yeah, but it's awesome because like it's full circle. Like I remember watching WrestleMania, watching Raw, Nitro with WCW with my dad, and then now my daughter watches it with me. So yeah, but I'm wearing a shirt for a reason. My sister bought it for me because she knows it was always my favorite WrestleMania. So it's WrestleMania 6, hands down.
Hey, by the way, shout out to your brother for winning the tournament challenge. We're gonna have to send him his gear real soon. And shout out to Sarah Anderson, who won our competition for the most likes and follows on our social media. So we'll be getting up with her and getting her some gear out too. Sorry, I had to segue that in there real quick. My favorite WrestleMania memory, you know, I haven't missed many WrestleMania since WrestleMania 12. My very first pay-per-view my parents ever bought for me was WrestleMania 12. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. I was a big Shawn Michaels fan. Literally, me just I love Shawn Michaels. You know, he was a little guy like me. I used to walk around. I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy, and just having fun. You know. So at the end of the day, I haven't missed many WrestleManias since then. Even when I deployed in 2011, they on the shout out the Armed Forces Network. Thank you for playing WrestleMania live at the correct time and not an 8-hour delay. I got to watch the WrestleMania in 2011, the Miz and John Cena's match. But I think one of my favorite WrestleMania moments that I can recall is the spear from Edge to Jeff Hardy. That spear, that spot was probably it hurt Jeff a lot, I'm sure. Shout out North Carolina, we're tough boys, but that was one of my favorite memories, just seeing that and hearing the fans just go crazy. And remember, that was just a year after Jeff did the swanton off that like 50-foot ladder onto Bubba Ray,
Mm-hmm.
So, I really, I've always made it a point to always have WrestleMania. When I was in North Carolina, me and my friends, we would have WrestleMania watch parties. We would just, get up and just have a bunch of food and just yell at the TV. But I think, hands down, one of my other favorite moments is Kofi winning. Kofi Mania is winning at WrestleMania. I think that was probably one of my favorite moments. And it came to me like a little. Daniel Bryan gave him a little, because the same thing happened with Daniel Bryan. So he was just returning the favor, So WrestleMania is always going to be, my favorite time. I've been fortunate enough and blessed that I had been to a WrestleMania. I'll get into that tomorrow when G-Man Gavin is on here. We'll talk about that. Great decision, but dumb decision at the same time. We had a Nico decision. Let's just put it like this. We drove from Charlotte, North Carolina to Dallas, Texas at midnight. Bro, look, we'll get it more tomorrow, but look, we left on Thursday going into Friday at midnight. And we drove from Charlotte, North Carolina to Fort Worth, where our Airbnb was. And we got there probably like 6:30 and at PM, by the way, Central Time. And literally we all just, after they went to the store, we all just fell asleep in the couch, the recliner, just passed out. Woke up the next morning like 9 a.m. just ready to go to WrestleMania in Dallas. I mean, it was so fun. It was an amazing time. We're going to get into that tomorrow. But yes, I am looking forward to going to another WrestleMania next year. Maybe the year after, if it's going to be in Indianapolis, and hopefully the year after that, it'd be right over here, about 2 blocks away from the front door at Camping World Stadium. Hey, Orlando, let's get it together. Let's get them here. We have beautiful weather. We don't have to worry about it being 40 degrees like Philadelphia last year or in New York. We have beautiful weather. Bring WrestleMania back. Hell, I'll even do parking for you. I don't care.
Just might rain. That's the one. It might rain.
It might rain, or I mean, who cares? We were in Florida. It'll rain for 5 minutes and quit, and then it'll be hot as hell after that.
True.
Yep.
So, we talk about great WrestleMania moments and matches. We got to get into the night one preview, man, and we're gonna go line by line, ready to go. We're gonna start off with a World Heavyweight Championship match. The Ring General Gunther versus main event Jey Uso. Yeet. Janko, we're going to start off with our predictions. We're going to start off with our thoughts, and you're going to start this one off right now.
Ooh. I don't see how they don't give it to Jey. I think Jey got it. I like where he's at mentally. I like what he's been doing. I think this is going to be one of those kind of similar to a Daniel Bryan moment. You got enough juice behind you right now. You're doing the right things. I think Gunther is realizing that this is not going to be a walk in the park like he thought. This is going to be a dogfight. And the longer the dogfight goes, the more I think I lean towards Jey. He just might find an Uso splash. He might find a spear almost out of nowhere. And I think we're going to be crowning a new champion tonight.
Or one of his 47 super kicks.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Jey should come out with the old Young Buck theme, the super kick party theme. That would be pretty cool. Look, I got to shout out AEW a little bit, okay? I'm sorry. So, Boudreaux, thoughts?
So it's just it's how we're gonna go with it, right? For the whole 2-night party. Is it gonna be where the fan favorite wins both titles, or is it gonna be where we're gonna throw one to a heel? I mean, that's where it's at. Because we'll get into this tomorrow, but tomorrow's match, I don't see it walking away unless it stays where it's at. That's where it's gonna go, right? With Jey, I would love for Jey to win it. Like I love Jey. Everything he does when he gets everybody hyped up for the match, he's a party around him, right? I would love for that to happen, but I think they're gonna give it to the heel just because of tomorrow night. But I mean, that's where I'm at with it. I want Jey to win it. I love the yeet. My daughter stands on the couch and she's yeet, yeet. So like I love it.
Yeet all over the place, Cole.
So, but I would love for Jey to win it, to be honest with you, just to keep.
I'm flipping a coin here. If this match starts the show, Gunther wins, and only because how it's going to end the show tonight. I could see some swerve coming in. You know, it could be a Jeff and Matt Hardy situation where Jey is just about to win it, just like he was at SummerSlam a couple of years ago, and here comes the ace in the hole, Jimmy. I do want Jey to win the match. He has been consistent, you know, personal things aside with the arrest and everything, that shit happens. But this gentleman, for 2.5 to 3 years, along with Roman and the rest of their family, carried the company out of the pandemic. I think one of the greatest tag team rivalries of all time is the Usos and the New Day. Hands down. Yes, you know, we're up there with the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express category, which that was a hell of a rivalry, and it's still going on. It's 100 years later. I want Jey to win, but I think it all depends on where that match begins. If it's the opening match, then, you know, it might be a possibility Jey don't win, and it has to be, you know, maybe he don't win, and maybe they get a rematch on Raw. And when's the last time the WWE title has changed hands on network television? You know, and you know, that shit used to happen all the time back in the day when Triple H was wrestling. You know, it's that shock value. And I think this year's Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is going to be the biggest one ever. So, you know, I think I want Jey to win, but I think it all depends on where that match is going to play out. And I just want him to win. That's all. Yeet, baby. Yeet. But I'm looking at it. All right, we're going to move on now. Hey, we got the World Tag Team Championship match. The War Raiders versus the New Day. And this one, Boudreaux, you're going to start this one off.
I'm going with New Day, man. Like if you're gonna have let's say they bookend it, right? Like you're talking about, where they got the Roman Reigns match at the end, you got Jay at the beginning. Go New Day. I think New Day's going to come in there and take the titles away. Just have to, just because of the history that's there. I mean, I was watching biographies last night for FCW, so like it was. I'm going with them. New Day. No reason why, no rhyme except for history.
Janko?
I agree. I think New Day. I think right now with what they're doing, I think that it just makes sense. I don't see any other thing. I mean, give it to them. We know they can make a run. We know they can do some things, and Boo Day, as they've been dubbed of recent. What more to elevate a division or get it back to where you want it to be with having people that you don't want to have the title have the title?
I mean, and I agree with y'all. I think the New Day is going to pull this one out. I think them turning heel refreshed them a little bit. I still don't like what they said to Big E, but I kind of hope Big E comes out and helps them. Because, I mean, if the rumors are true, then Big E's semi-healthy. I mean, he ain't going to take bumps, but, I mean, he's big enough to where he can clothesline, Eric or Ivar, I think the New Day is gonna bring this one out, and we'll see how that goes. I mean, they're not throwing out pancakes and popsicles anymore, but they can lead with them tag titles at WrestleMania. I think it's just a testament to their longevity. I mean, because they was put together as a joke. They didn't think that they could be successful. That's what the people thought. And then, the right people got in their ears and it just took off, and I think they're still like top 5 merch selling, so, I mean, if you're still selling merch after, turning heel, I mean, that's pretty damn good. So we're going to move it on now. We got Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. And, I don't know why Boudreaux isn't wearing his mask, but,
maybe tomorrow. I'll bring it
up. Boudreaux has a legit wrestling mask. By the way, people, if you're not, aware, we got Rey Mysterio, Hall of Famer. I mean, you can't say much more. He's Hall of Famer, hands down, greatest luchador to ever step in the ring, and that's no disrespect to any luchador that's ever stepped in the ring. But no luchador has the success that Rey Mysterio has. Do we agree?
And the longevity.
He might have a dumbass kid, but I see that, Boudreaux. You almost ruined your shirt.
Yeah, I almost did, man.
But I think Ray's going to pull this out, and I think we're going to find out who the hell this El Grande Americano is, who's been causing all sorts of issues. Last night he caused, the great Ray Phoenix his Andre the Memorial Battle Royal win. So I think Ray is going to come out, and I think Ray's going to win this match. Any objections here?
No, Ray. That's it.
No, Ray. I think we're getting close to where Ray's going to say goodbye, and this might be his start to where, winning a match at WrestleMania, can move up the ladder a little bit, probably fight for another title within the next year, and then it's going to probably be curtain call for Ray.
You say Ray says goodbye. All right, so let's segue into that real quick. What's the perfect way for Ray to say goodbye? I have my opinion. I want to see if y'all might be on the same page as me.
Beat the shit out of his kid for a title.
Double that, 100%. No objections. Yes.
I objected because it's backwards.
It's
backwards. I got they always say the stars always go out on their back.
Yeah, it's true.
I think the best way to go out is WrestleMania next year in New Orleans. You wear masks in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, right? And I think it's going to be a mask versus hair affair. And I think Dominic's going to win, take his dad's mask, and that's how his dad rides off to the sunset. Because if you notice, Ray now is a lot less wearing his mask out in interviews and things.
Yeah.
We already know who the hell he is. He took his mask off one time already back in WCW. But I think, honestly, that's the best way to go out. But we talk all the crap we want about Dominic Mysterio, but he has got to be loving life. You know, you get to come up in a company with your dad, one of the greatest of all time, and you get to learn from that learning tree. Like I mentioned this before, the the Samoan family dynasty at that Money in the Bank when it was the Usos versus Solo versus Roman. You got to think what type of feeling they had. They were main eventing a pay-per-view, the top talent in the company. Like you being in there with your family makes a lot of difference, in the things you do, because you're really going to punch your family member, so that's all good. But, I think Ray's best way to go out is Dominic beating him in probably a hair versus mask match. Hey, Papa H, book it and give me a little bit of credit for that, please. But at the end of the day, I think Ray's going to win tonight. We're going to find out who the hell this El Grande Americano is. I did share with Kathy Kelly that it could be Chad Boudreaux because they said his name was Chad. So I sent her your picture and she didn't retweet it though. But I wasn't supposed to tell everybody. Crap. Oh man. Hey, we got to go take a timeout now. We got to go. But speaking of timeouts, ladies and gentlemen, give us a couple of second break. We're going to take a real brief break and we'll be right back. And we're going to finish up night one of WrestleMania's preview. We appreciate you. We love you. And thank you for hanging out with the Chads. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning here in Central Florida. We're about halfway through with night one. We're getting into a little grudge match here. We got the great Jade Cargill, who me and Janko was there when she debuted in the WWE, taking on Naomi. We was there when she came back to the WWE at the Royal Rumble last year in Tampa, St. Pete. Now the open air stadium of Tropicana Field. So they keep saying they want an open one, and they got one now. But have you seen those ticket prices to go to a Tampa Bay game at the George Steinbrenner Stadium?
Well, there's only 11,000 people that can go, so why not? I mean,
crazy.
It's dubbed the Yankee place, man. Anything Yankees going to be too much. And I say that as a Yankee fan.
Yeah, forget that part. I'm sorry. My bad for being uninformed today. All right, Jade Cargill, Naomi. Janko, start us off.
Jade. I just think it's going to be Jade. I think right now where she's at, I think she's due a little bit. I think she was on the rise before she went away for a little bit. Now she's back. And honestly, I just think she's freaking awesome. What she does, what she can do, I think that's pretty cool. I don't think you see many women that strong, that athletic. So I definitely want to see her succeed.
Janko, can you beat her in a combine?
In a combine?
Yep, 40, bench press, 3-cone shuttle, all that. Can you beat her in it?
I don't know, man. I'm a little out of running shape. I'll take me in the bench.
I tell you what, traditional or Olympic lifts, which one are you taking her in? Which one are you going to win? Traditional. I'm not doing Olympic. She probably beats me in Olympic. Let's be real here. Man, the bench is going to carry me. That 1,000-pound club comes easy when you got a 500-pound bench.
Not quite 5, but it's. I feel good about my bench. I'll say that.
Boudreaux? Oh wait.
To answer that question, yeah, she'd beat me in everything, and then she'd beat my ass. So I mean, that's where we're at.
I bench about 12 ounces, boys.
Yeah, Jade, she's due, man. She's due for something special. Like Naomi had her shot. I think it's going Jade's way. I think this is going to be. She's going to start working into being the face of the women's division because she's exactly what you want to run that division. She's got like a mean streak about her, and she could just go out there and intimidate anyone. It doesn't matter who she's going up against. So yeah, I'm going with Jade. She's going to be the one. Next year, we'd probably talk about her winning the title at WrestleMania, to be honest with you.
We're 3 for 3 on that. Shout out Jade Cargill, baby. Look, a storm is coming for real. This woman, she has that it factor. We all knew it in AEW, and I think WWE did it smart by just taking their time with her, because there has to be a little bit of an adjustment period, and then we had her being out for a little bit. But I'm glad she's back. I'm glad she's ready to go. And shit, Jade Cargill all the way. Hey, we're getting in now the WWE United States Championship match. LA Knight.
Yeah.
Hey, we actually got that one. Against the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Boudreaux, what do we think here?
I mean, we're not going to have an all Samoan night, right? Like, that's what we're not going to plan for, right?
Who knows? I mean, technically, yeah, I mean, it's a possibility.
So, I think it's going to go LA Knight's way. I'm going to go off the limb and say it just because there's something about LA Knight where he does things that is just out of the blue, where you don't expect him to win, and next thing you know, he's winning. You're like, how is that possible? I think he's just going to keep going with that. Plus, I'm also saying there's not going to be an all Samoan night, so I'm going with, because I want Jay for sure to win. So I'm going that way. All right, that's where I'm at.
Hey, LA Knight does what megastars do. Okay, Janko, who you got?
I'm gonna have to go the other way on this one. I'm thinking Jacob. I mean, I agree. Probably won't see an all Samoan night, which means that leaves us with one, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But I'm thinking Jacob. I think that you got to see what he can do in kind of that champion where he's holding a belt. The guy is ridiculously athletic. He does some things that I'm just like, holy crap! No one your size should be able to do that. I like what he presents.
He is Samoan, so a lot of guys his size can do that.
Yeah, but it's not common, and it shouldn't be able to happen. But I think also we want to see. I like what he does. I like how he presents himself. Yeah. I think he's one of those guys that can kind of be a wild card down the road. And we got to see what he can do with the title in his hands. And LA, I don't know. I'm just nothing bad about LA. I'm Jacob. I'm on Jacob tonight.
I got you. So I think I'm gonna go LA Knight for one reason. Tonight is the night that Solo turns on Jacob, and he calls him the match. But if he wins, Solo can still turn on him after the match. But I think Solo is going to cost him the match and start that feud, because you don't need to throw a title on them to have a good feud, But I think tonight's the night that Solo will turn on Jacob. Shout out Tama. That's my guy. I love him. I can't wait for his brother to get back healthy. And, I want to see what the Samoans can do, especially when they're all come back healthy. Because that's gonna be a good little story there. But I think Solo's gonna turn on him tonight, and we'll go from there. So we're split on this one here a little bit. So we'll see how the night goes. So now we got probably the most personal match on the card, the WWE Women's Championship match. Miss Tiffy Time herself against the Queen Charlotte. This is going to get bloody, I think, and I'm going to let Janko start with this one.
This is one of the ones I'm actually very interested in seeing. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be intense. I think it's going to be a good one. And honestly, I split on this one right down the middle, just because on the one hand, you have Charlotte. She's Charlotte. We all know what they feel about her. We all know Charlotte's
25-time women's champion by it's over. I mean, it's
but we can't take away from Tiffany, man. She's done the work. She's good. And I wouldn't be surprised if, she this is kind of like her over the top moment, and she beat Charlotte, and it's all there. I think for the sake of predictions, I'm going to go Tiffany Stratton. And I'm literally 50.1. Like that. That's how confident I am in that one. That one's so down the middle for me. Because I just, like I said, I know how they feel about Charlotte, and she's when she's the woman, she's really good. But I think it's Tiffy time. That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Tippy time. I'm going Tippy time because WrestleMania is always used to put that person over the top, right? And you always use that older wrestler that's there, and they use them to put that next person they think is going to be the one leading the company over the top. And with everything that's going around Tiffy time and Tiffany right now, I think this is the match that's going to put her over the top and be the new face of the women's division until, like I said, next year where Jade takes it. But I agree. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a great match to watch. I think it's going to be bloody, lots of history there. But yeah, they're going to use that. It's time for someone else to be the big face of the women's division, and they have the perfect person in Tiffany Stratton to be there.
And look, that's all I'm going to do, baby. Tiffy time, baby. Look, I love Tiffany Stratton. And wait, disclaimer. Ludwig Kaiser, you better not be in Charlotte's DMs. We will find you, sir. We will find you. We love you, but we'll find you. Don't be in her DMs. Look, Tiffy time, baby. Look, that whole thing, once she started shouting out, you're 0 for 3 in divorce, I'm like, damn, what is Charlotte, a Marine? But, at the end of the day, I love Charlotte Flair. Don't get me wrong. I love Charlotte Flair, represent North Carolina, baby. But it's Tiffy time all day. And, Tiffany Stratton, her athletic background, it's almost unmatched. I mean, Charlotte obviously has an amazing athletic background. She has the pedigree, but Tiffy has came up. Tiffy has got over. And you're right. WrestleMania is when you get over that hump more. Think about when she won the title. She cashed it in on Nia Jax. And we all love Nia Jax, but Nia Jax ain't no Charlotte Flair.
Right.
So at the end of the day, hell, this is Tiffy's time. And I think it's going to be great. It is going to be bloody. It is going to be, I got a chance of this being the match of the night, believe it or not.
I agree with that 100%.
But it is definitely Tiffy time, no doubt. And that's, if I could have anybody so far that we talked about on the show, it'd be Tiffy. Because I just want to hear her talk so much shit about Charlotte. And that is just phenomenal. That's the type of wrestling we need. When you blur those lines, like the whole Riddle and Seth Rollins thing a few years ago, that was a little crazy. And then Tiffy, and this is when you knew she went off the rails, because Tiffy looked back to see how far away she was from them ropes. And what she said, she got the hell out of there. I was like, oh my God, but look, we love Tiffy time all day. And now, gentlemen, we have came to the moment we've all been waiting for. The main event for the first night of WrestleMania. We got the triple threat match. You got Roman Reigns. You got Seth Rollins. And you got CM Punk with Paul Heyman in his corner for the favor that CM Punk wanted whenever he joined Roman Reigns at War Games. This has been a very interesting build. This has been a very interesting time. Who wants to start?
Go ahead, Janko.
So going back to it can't be an all Samoan night. This is, and I am a Roman Reigns fan.
I acknowledge my tribal chief.
chief.
We at Hangin With The Chads acknowledge our tribal chief.
100%.
All day.
I'm going Seth here with the point that it's not Roman who gets pinned. I think it's CM Punk that gets pinned. I think that's the only way that Roman doesn't win. And because I'm going Jay and Jacob, I just, right now, where we're at, thinking about it, CM Punk and all his greatness and everything, he's not the same CM Punk. Let's call it what it is. He's not the same CM Punk. Roman doesn't need a WrestleMania push to be a main eventer.
Roman doesn't need the title to be a main eventer anymore.
Roman is Roman Reigns, and if it's Friday night or Monday and he's scheduled to be on, you're gonna get people watching, whether he has a title, whether he's won a WrestleMania or not. People are gonna watch.
Needle mover.
Yeah,
exactly. So it leaves Seth. Now Seth in his own right is Seth Rollins, and as much as anybody can say about him, the guy's good at what he does. He's made runs. He's had some of the most memorable moments, the heist of the century. Let's not forget that.
You know what? I'm pissed off. I didn't even say that. The show's done now.
Let's not forget that because that one was a special one. I think that I don't think this feud ends tonight, but I think that to throw a little bit something to the fire, you got to have Seth pin Punk. I think, like I said, Roman is Roman. He's a needle mover. He doesn't need this moment to win. I think it's Seth pinning Punk, and Seth wins tonight.
Boudreaux?
All right, so I've been saying that it's not going to be an All Samoan night, and I did say earlier that what was going to happen, but I'm on that train, except where I have CM Punk. I think what's going to happen is that Heyman's going to interfere, Roman's going to get distracted with Heyman, and then CM pins Seth. That's honestly where I'm at with that one, because they have to give CM something at some point. You can't just keep beating him down, and never give him that glory that one time for going for it. So I think this is that moment for CM. And with that happening, I that's where I'm at. But yeah, I'm with you. It's going to fuel the rivalry even more. But it's Roman Reigns going to get distracted by Paul, hands down.
Just a couple of quick things. The only train we can jump on is the Godfather's train. So, that's the only train we're legally allowed to get on today. So, now, let me
Hey, man, I'm married, all right? I can't get him.
Hey,
no,
look,
sir. No,
shout out
sir.
to Godfather. He's in Vegas, too. That's where he's stationed at. That's the last.
I know.
I'm sure
That's where he's from.
A lot of the talent been hanging out with the Godfather this weekend. Shout out Godfather, Hall of Famer himself. Anyway, back to it here. I'm going Seth, but for a reason you're not going to see coming. Paul Heyman turns on both CM Punk and Roman Reigns. CM Punk is going for the GTS. Roman spears Punk. Seth falls down. Heyman stands up, gets on the apron, distracts Roman, pedigree, curb stomp CM Punk. He pins CM Punk because Roman don't got to take the pin. CM Punk takes the pin. Ultimate betrayal for CM Punk. Ultimate travesty. And Seth Rollins will gain the most from Paul Heyman being by his side, to where we get a new version of Seth Rollins. Because what do they always say? It was Paul Heyman that brought the Shield in to help Punk. So this whole full circle thing can come back in time and be like, this has been the plan for the architect the entire time. And he's just waiting for his right moment. And we see a whole new version of Seth Rollins. And now we see CM Punk chasing instead of being the guy that everybody's hating. Now he goes back to chasing everything.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Seth, and I think it's going to be because of Paul Heyman.
Now you said that, and now I'm thinking heist of the century. Paul Heyman was involved. Now on Brock's side, he was the advocate for Brock Lesnar.
But did Paul try to stop it?
Yeah.
I mean that match. If we remember back, that was the first time. I don't know how you guys felt. That was the first time I was sitting there, and I was like, "Holy crap! Roman Reigns might actually win this thing." Before Seth came in, again, heist of the century.
Look, Paul Heyman is the key to tonight's main event.
Oh yeah, we all agree on that one right there. I'm pretty sure we all do.
I am a Paul Heyman guy. Like, I love Paul Heyman, but he's the key to tonight's main event. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our predictions. Are we right or are we wrong? We're going to take a real...
we're probably completely wrong. It's going to go way off the rail.
Just like our damn bracket challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back, and we're going to introduce Mr. Janko to our favorite game we play, Would You Rather. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with us. And we are back, and we're joined by a very special guest here on the show. Hey, raise him up just a little bit. Your name is actually blocking him out.
Oh.
Hey, there he is, the future tribal chief. How are we doing today? You wanted to come see your dad, huh?
Yeah, let him know. Let him know we're here. This is Lorenzo.
What's up, Zoe?
My youngest one. Hey, nope. Giant shirt. He already knows what's up. He's learning early.
Oh, God, Giant.
Bro, you're a Panthers fan. Stop.
Hey, look, in this sense, the Panthers are doing just a smidge better than the Giants.
We didn't let our
That's right there much, man. That bar is right now on the floor.
We traded our best running back to get a draft pick. Y'all just let yours go to a rival.
No. We let him go to keep a quarterback who we no longer have. Let's be honest about what happened there.
We brought our quarterback back, baby. Shout out Cam Newton, baby. Cam Newton, we love you. You're still my quarterback forever. Forever. Anyway, Janko.
Notice I'm keeping quiet over here as a Saints fan. You know, my quarterback decides he wants all the money, but then he gets hurt.
Hey, you're about to get Shador, so you should be lucky.
Shador. Wait, you think he's going to last that long, or you think they're going to trade up?
I think they're going to trade up.
Oh, I was going to say.
I think this week is going to be a hell of a sports week. That's all I'm saying. This week is going to be one hell of a sports week. You got the NBA playoffs. You got the NHL playoffs. You got the NFL draft. You got WrestleMania. Hell, it's going to be this great week. And then on top of that, the 28th, we ain't got to go to work that day.
Whoa. We don't got to go to work. I got to go to work.
It's their first day of spring football practice. Have fun down there in the corner of Pleasant Hill in Poinciana. I'll be there.
We're installed. Day one install. It's always a good day.
I will be there eventually that day. That's all I'm going to say. You hold it down till I get there, big dog. All right, here we go. What would you rather? Mr. Janko, would you rather attend front row seats to an entire WrestleMania week, starting at SmackDown, Hall of Fame, Stand and Deliver, both WrestleMania nights and the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania? Or would you rather attend a VIP access to the Super Bowl with all your favorite former and current NFL players?
Ooh, okay.
And I'm talking field passes and everything.
No. VIP, we're talking about I get in the suite and I get
you're in a
all
suite,
22 view of the game.
All inclusive. You pick your friends.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the VIP for the sole purposes. I'm gonna sit there with a notepad and try to steal some stuff.
Hey, Sean McVay, do you remember that play call you did against the Giants that beat us? Tell me that play.
But it as much fun as I think a WrestleMania event would be. I mean, my heart's still there. Deep down, I'm still a coach. So if you're gonna give me a chance to steal some plays from NFL coaches, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take that 10 of 10 times.
Boudreaux?
Man, this is a tough one. God. Yeah, I mean, always wanting to learn. Even though I don't coach football, always wanting to learn. I mean, that's up there. But I don't know, WrestleMania has been so big in my family for so many years. I think I'm going to have to go. I mean, granted, like I said, I'm a Saints fan. I've only been able to cheer for the Super Bowl one time. So,
you won that one, though.
Yeah, we did win that one. But yeah, I'm gonna go WrestleMania. You're gonna give me everything, front row seats to everything. Get to meet all my favorite wrestlers because they're all gonna be at the Hall of Fame for that induction ceremony. Yeah, I'm going WrestleMania. Just like I said, it's such a huge part of my family. Like I'm guaranteeing tonight, I'm gonna get 37 text messages from my brothers and my dad about tonight. So yeah, I'd go WrestleMania.
You'll get about 15 from me tonight.
Probably.
So if the Carolina Panthers ain't playing in the Super Bowl, I'm going to WrestleMania, baby. Look, I'm going to WrestleMania. I hope it's an indoor arena because I don't want to be sitting outside in the weather. But obviously having those front row seats, being there, getting to smack Randy Orton on the back as he's coming through. Which shout out Randy Orton, by the way. I love Randy Orton. Always been a Randy Orton fan. This new version of Randy Orton coming back from that injury, Buff Randy is what we like to call him now. He is just killing it, man. And you can tell he's actually enjoying it now because that dude, he spoke about it last night about the longevity. This is going to be his 20th WrestleMania. We've seen this dude when he was like 19 coming into WWE. Like, that's going to be, unfortunately, the bastard Dominic Mysterio in 20 years, So, I would rather attend WrestleMania unless the Carolina Panthers are in the Super Bowl, which I've had 2 Super Bowl experiences and lost them both. So I won't WrestleMania. All right. Now here's a good one. What would you rather? Take a chair shot to the back or a table bump off the top rope?
Oh my God.
I'll do this one to start with. I'm going chair shot. The chair shot has been a part of wrestling longer than the tables. So, and I remember when the first chair shot happened, and I always was like, I wonder what that feels like. For some reason, I'm weird like that. I've always wanted to know what the chair shot to the back felt like. So I'm going chair shot, hands down.
I think Lorenzo's going for the chair shot too. He's throwing his hands up like he wants to, or he's eating.
He's eating.
Janko?
Yeet. Chair shot, 100% for a completely different reason. I don't want to take a bump off a table. That sounds terrible. Like, I don't want to take another grown man just jumping on me and we breaking through a table. At least a chair shot, even if they miss and they hit you with the hard part on your back, you could and it goes over. Table, I'm a 290-pound person. I shouldn't be taking no damn bumps. Table.
Hey, I'm taking a chair shot too. And what I should have did to both of y'all is say chair shot from Hardcore Holly in his prime, or a 3D through the table.
Still the chair shot.
All right, here we go. What would you rather? Be Jeff Hardy taking the spear from Edge hanging from the belt, or Mick Foley taking the spear through the table on fire from Edge?
Just be Jeff Hardy because that was freaking awesome. I mean, they both suck, but I'm gonna go with the more awesome one in my opinion. That was Jeff Hardy off the top.
Oh yeah, hands down. Like the one through fire is cool and all, but that shot is so memorable. Everyone who's seen it remembers it vividly. They see the picture. Yep, exactly. They see the whole thing happen. I'm going with that one. Hands down.
I love they show the Wile E. Coyote cam whenever he spears him, like the camera from the top looking down. It's just smaller and smacks the ring.
Right.
Freaking awesome. All right, the last one. What would you rather? Would you rather main event WrestleMania going into the match knowing you're going to lose? Or would you rather open WrestleMania knowing you're going to win?
I want to win. I hate losing. That is one of my things. I'm not a sore loser, but I'm not a good loser. It will sit with me too damn long. I'll congratulate the person and I'll be, hey, you did a good job, but man, I rather win. You know, it's almost like the question: would you rather be a big fish in a small pond or be a small fish in a big pond? Listen, I want to win. That's what it comes down to.
Well, with your body size, you're a big fish in both the small and big pond. So
We're not talking about that. I just want to win, and I want to make sure I want to leave on top. No sense in main eventing if you lose. How many times do you remember second place?
Yeah, I was like being a coach and an athlete. Yeah, you want to always win, but I'm gonna go different. Everyone's dream, if you have anything to do with wrestling, is to main event WrestleMania, even if you are the one that loses. I mean, you want to do it. I mean, look what happened with Sting, right? Sting always wanted to be a part of WrestleMania, and he lost to Triple H.
Of a match in California.
Yeah. So I mean, and he still lost, but like your dream is to just main event WrestleMania, and have your picture put on that marquee, saying that you are the one that's main eventing. You may lose, but you're the one that's main eventing that WrestleMania. Your picture will forever be a part of that marquee. So yeah, I'm 100% main eventing WrestleMania, even if I'm losing. It's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I would rather main event, but if I'm gonna lose, I would rather go in as champion and lose the title to give to someone else. Would be
put someone else over the top. Yeah,
put someone else over, and that's what I would do. And hey, Janko, that's it for you. You survived your first episode with Hanging with the Chads. We're gonna have you back for a future episode when we talk about some sports, and hopefully you get an opportunity to come back tomorrow for round 2 for day 2 preview. And any closing thoughts for the world, Mr. Beras?
Keep at it. Young fellas, going back to that Nico thing, young athletes, please always think about decisions that you're making moving forward. All right. Everyone's going to promise you the world. Very little are going to deliver. It's like I tell every high school athlete when they're getting recruited, everyone loves you till you get to camp. Then all of a sudden, all that love turns to very different energy. All right. So please always think about what's best for yourself and what's for your families. At the end of the day, this is the most important thing. And do not think that you are going to get rich through NIL. That's made to help you out. If your goal is to make money, set your sights for the NFL and do what's best for that. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. But young fellas, please always keep that in mind.
Yep. Hey, and look, I echo that sentiment, but I'm going to go a different direction here. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you watch WrestleMania tonight. It's going to be an amazing episode of sports entertainment and professional wrestling. I am going to be sitting here with some buffalo chicken dip and some pollo campero chicken, and I am going to be enjoying this night. And Mr. Boudreaux, thank you for being the best tag team partner in the world. And as always, let everybody know what they need to do going into this week.
Be better.
Be better, everybody. We appreciate, we love you. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and all the other fun stuff. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chad Springer. This is Chad Boudreaux, and we'd like to thank our very special guest, Janko Beras. Thank you for hanging out and hanging with the Chads.
Thanks for having me, guys.